Hello, everybody. How's it going? I am doing a quick solo stream because the market is going this way. Pew! If you're a millennial from the 90s, you'll remember those toy guns. That's what's going on. And while I'm watching this, I'm seeing a bunch of people online telling you now's the perfect time to buy, especially in the crypto world. I've seen at least a couple people tell you that now is the perfect time to buy. And I want to, that drives me crazy. Okay? Like, this is not financial advice. Why? I don't know why they say that. They're trying not to get sued or whatever. But I just want to show you from someone who's watched the charts every day for 7 years that this is not the time to buy, okay? And anyone who's telling you it's the time to buy, I would really, really reconsider taking them seriously from here on, if you would. So, can everyone hear me okay? Anybody listening? My audio, I'm trying out a different mic, and I want to make sure I can hear myself fine, but I want to make sure I'm coming through on your end while I pull up a chart here. If anybody could tell me, that'd be great. If not, I'm just going to keep going. We're going to do it here. All right, so I tried all different kinds of indicators, and I mean, I've tried about everything. I'm always open to trying something new because I think it is, someone said pork. I don't know what that means, Julian, but if you can hear me okay, say yes or no. But pork is good too. We'll take that as well. Anyway, the more complicated I tried to make it, I eventually just settled on something dead simple, you know. And one of the overall like major indicators is called, and I'm going to explain this as if you guys don't know a whole lot about this. I think a lot of us suffer from the curse of knowledge. Like, there's people about this that know so much more than me that it's almost like, well, what do I have to add to the conversation? You know what I mean? But I know I do, because I hear other people saying things that are driving me crazy. And as they said in that beautiful little animated film with the boy and the mole and the fox and the horse, being honest is always interesting. So I'm just getting on here to try to be honest with you and share with you why I don't think this is a good idea to be hopping on here and buying it right now. So let's go ahead and share this chart here. Right. We're going to do the Bitcoin tab here. I'm going to make it as big as I can. You can see I've drawn a lot of support and resistance lines. And I'll show you two major indicators that I use. I only use two. I always look at two. And I do half my account with one indicator, half my account with the other one. So the first one I do is called the Ichimoku, and that is Japanese for one look. I look at it. I can take one look at a chart and tell if it's going up or down. Okay? So let me take off my support and resistance lines. I believe it's that one. And you can just see the indicator at work here. Okay? When I look at this indicator, I'm looking for three things to decide whether I want to buy, go long, stay in cash, or short it, which you make money from it going down. Okay? So this is Bitcoin. I only trade the daily chart because, like Ed Seykota said, you know, if you zoom in, it just starts getting too much noise. These are the fundamentals from Ed Seykota. I don't know if you can see that right there. I'll put that big up on the screen real quick. ride your winners, cut your losses, manage risk, use stops, stick to the system, file the news. Ed will send you one of these for free if you send him $1, and he'll send you back a $2 bill with a free copy of this card. If any of you are into trading or have read like Market Wizards or anything like that, you know Ed Seykota is an absolute legend in trend following trading. I believe he turned just a few $1,000, maybe $20,000 into $180 million. Okay, so and I mainly like Ed has a very almost like an Eastern approach to the markets. Like, I just follow the trend, you know, I go with the flow. It's Taoist almost, and I dig that. Let me try to turn this on light mode. I never use light mode, but for the purposes of this video, I will show you here. It's easier to see. So on the Ichimoku, when I open this up, I'm looking for 3 things here real quick. Number 1, I'm looking for is price above or below the cloud. Okay. The cloud is just the support and resistance of the current price mapped into the future. I believe it's 52 days. One of these lines is the bottom resistance. One of these lines is the top. Some brilliant Japanese guy figured this out in like the 1930s or something. Japanese journalist. So, number 1, I don't want to go long on this chart. Look at this volume. Look at this volume. Someone sold 162,000 Bitcoin today, and there's a bunch of people out there telling people to buy this. You don't want to fight volume. Look at this negative volume. It's huge. Like, if I zoom out, there's no volume like that anywhere on. Look at this. Look at the red right there. I mean, you want to be on the side of volume. These are people with way more money than you. I mean, it just upsets me. So anyway, first thing I look for is price above the cloud. No, it's not. It is not above the cloud. The second thing you want to look for to buy would be the 9-day average, which is this blue line right here, is above the 26-day average right here. Let me turn off the other indicator I use just so you can see here. So, is that the case? No, they are both equal. 59,540 and 59,540. You can see it right up here. So they're equal. Okay. You don't have a clear trend. You have a clear trend, but in the opposite direction. All right. And the third thing I look for is the trailing line. The trailing line is just the confirmation line of the trend. You want this to be below price, and you want it to be below the cloud. So this is actually looking like a short opportunity on Ichimoku. If you wanted to be absolutely clear this was a short opportunity, you would wait until the 9-day was clearly under the 26-day. But I've put shorts in here before when they're equal. When the chart is this clear with this much red volume behind it. Like I said, I don't give financial advice. I'm just telling you, I'm sharing my own belief here that this chart looks very much like it's going to go down from any indicator I would use. You could build some sort of fundamentalist analysis right here, 8 minutes ago. Crypto liquidations cross 1 billion as Bitcoin crashes to 51,000. You could build some fundamental analysis, perhaps, that you think, I don't know, Bitcoin is going to replace oil as the reason people buy US dollars, because internationally, this is kind of Whitney Webb's analysis. I've heard many other people saying this. I tend to agree with it. People around the world that aren't in economies with sovereignty, like, China, in Russia, they'll still be buying crypto, but any poorer country that's been ruined by U.S. imperialism, just like the poor in America, one of our greatest hopes for getting out of poverty is buying cryptocurrency. What do you need to buy cryptocurrency? What's the most stable asset you can get your hands on that's easily transferable into cryptocurrency? That would be the US dollar or US dollar coin of some sort. So, I get that analysis, but as far as like buying today, there is nothing on this chart that would make me want to do that. The Ichimoku, so that's the first one I always look at. It is very close to going short, which if you don't know how shorting works, this is how it works. Brother could look at Gary Network for me once. I don't know what that means, bro. I'm guessing that's a bot wanting me to talk about the Gary Network. And I did. I fell for it, dude. I'm sorry. So here's how shorting works. And this took me forever to realize. Once again, if you guys are old trading pros, don't listen to me, okay? A perfect product to short would be a gallon of milk, okay? You have a gallon of milk, all right? And you're pretty sure in a month this gallon of milk is going to be worth less than it is today. If someone came up to you and said, hey, I'm willing to borrow your gallon of milk today, and I will promise to buy it back from you at a point in the future, right? You'd be like, okay. But to lend my milk to you, I'm going to charge a small fee every day that you have my milk. I'm pretty sure that in a month, okay. I don't know much about that one, Disclose Crypto. I appreciate you dropping by, man. No problem. In a month, I imagine this milk will be worthless. So if someone is, well, let's just say it, stupid enough to take me up on this, I'm going to do it because your milk will be, I can get some rotten milk very easily in a month and, can give that back to you. But in the meantime, I'm going to take your good milk today, immediately sell it at the market value, pocket that money, and buy back the rotten milk in the future. This analogy doesn't really work. Because it's not a fungible good. But I don't know. Let's take this Nintendo controller. How about that? Let's try this. This Nintendo controller. You somehow in your mind think Nintendo's going to have a horrible bug that will brick every Switch console in the next week. So you tell your friend, I will borrow this Switch controller from you, and I promise to buy it back and give it back to you in a month. And he says, okay, I guess, but I'm going to charge you $1 a day, every day, and then I can buy another Switch controller. That's what he thinks. Well, I immediately borrow his Switch controller. I sell it on the market for $50 or whatever, pocket the money. No one wants a Nintendo in a month because they can't fix this bug. It's a bug that kills every Nintendo. It doesn't really work like this, but you get what I'm saying. I buy back a ruined Switch controller in a month for $1, and I get to pocket the $49. That's how shorting works. So, that might be an option at this point. If I was a Bitcoin trader, that's what I would be doing. So let's look at the other reason. The main one that I want to communicate to you guys why I don't think you should be buying Bitcoin at this point. So we'll turn off the Ichimoku. And this is the other one I like to use. This is double MA cross. It is just 2 moving averages. All right, and I have them set here to the most standard moving averages you can set them to. Let me put the screen back on. All right, moving average type 1, standard moving average, 50-day length. Right here, moving average type 2, standard moving average, 200-day length. All right? Now this is Bitcoin. Okay? This is the 50, this is the 200. It's just an average line of the last 50 days of price movement, the last 200 days of price movement. If you were a child, and a lot of the famous trading books, I say, ask your kid which way you think this is going to go. You know, get all your nonsense out of it. Let's turn off the price altogether. Does it look like the 50-day moving average is about to go under the 200? Or does it look like it's comfortable? You know, if you really zoom in here, what does it look like is happening here? It very much looks to me like the 50-day moving average is about to go under the 200. It definitely looks like that to me. And let's look at the last time that happened. Okay, so let's zoom way back. All right. It happened there for a minute, whip back up. It could do that, but to communicate to you, this is the kind of thing you can see when it happens. All right, right here. 50-day moving average goes under the 200. And it went, you know, I remember at that time. And that's why I'm on here trying to say this now, because I remember at that time a bunch of people being like, buy it, buy it, buy it. This is a great time to buy it. Right here. If you look at this chart, this was not a good time to buy it. All right. You could have bought it instead of 43,000. You could have bought it for 16, 15. You could have bought 3 times as much if you'd been patient. Okay? No one knows the future. No one knows what will happen. But for me, I like to use a couple very basic trend indicators to tell me, am I going with the crowd or am I going against the crowd? Okay? This is, when this goes under this, you don't want to be buying it. Okay? There's actually a name for this. And once again, if you OGs know this and you just roll your, I'm sure you've already moved on to another YouTube video. But for those of you that don't, there's a name for when the 50-day standard moving average goes under the 200-day, and it's called the death cross. All right? Not a good thing. All right? The main way that the death cross is measured, the most closely watched stock market moving average, is the 50-day and the 200-day. Okay, you can see right there on that video. The death cross happens. Well, let's just watch this video real quick. Let's see.
Death cross. A death cross is seen when the short-term moving average of a security or index falls below its long-term moving average. Consider the recent performance of conglomerate stock. After both its 50-day and 100-day moving averages ascended for several months, its 50-day average crossed below the 100-day average shortly after the stock reached its peak value. Both trends descended from there, and the long-term average became the new resistance level. Technical traders who study a stock's historical values to predict its future direction will interpret a death cross as a bearish signal marking the time to sell. They'll believe a short-term decline is becoming a long-term trend. But that's not always the case, and investors should not base their decisions on a single indicator. Other time frames used when looking for crossovers include the 10-day to 50-day moving average and the 50-day to 200-day. Longer-term indicators usually carry more weight.
So there you go. That's the death cross. The opposite of the death cross is called the golden cross. Here it is. What is the difference between a death cross and a golden cross? A death cross and a golden cross are the opposite of one another. A death cross is a bearish indicator and signals a decrease in the price of an asset. A golden cross is a bullish indicator that signals an increase in the price of an asset. So bearish just means you think the market's going to go down. Why do they call it being bearish? Because that's how a bear kills you, is they throw you on the ground and they eat you. A bull the reason the bull goes up is because it gets you with the horns and it throws you in the air. So it's a stock market lingo. Bear is down, bull is up. Okay. So yeah, we go back to this. If you look, you can see here's a golden cross right here. This was on May 20th. Okay. So you had the COVID collapse. When was that? That was like March 2020. You can see it happened right here. I personally think there was some funny business going on here. Okay. So, I'll just go ahead and say, I am a natural bear. So take that into consideration when you're listening to me. Maybe it's my my commie politics or whatnot, but I think this whole system is teetering on the edge. Okay. I think even full-throated believers in capitalism believe that. But at this moment, you could see, and this was COVID. You had a death cross right after COVID. Now, fundamentally, they started printing money, and pretty soon, you could have bought it you could have bought it down here, I guess, at 3,000. But to me, there was no way to know unless, I guess, fundamentally, the printing of money, which, I think, again, would send markets soaring. But as far as just watching the chart like you're an alien, right here is a death cross. So you would have went short at 68,000. You would have covered your short at about 9,000. So you would have lost a couple $1,000. But then you would have bought back in right here. You just would have switched to long, and look how you would have done. Okay. You would have caught all this huge move until right there. So let's see the percent gain on that. So you would have held your position for a little over a year, and you would have almost quadrupled your money. You would have tripled your money. Okay. Like right here, you got whipsawed again. So you would have went short right here. It looks like you would have covered your position right there. So you would have lost 30%. But you just made 340%. So you go long. Well, I could do this over and over again. You will. It's not a win every time, but you're definitely on the side of the major move. And that's the point of being a trend following trader. Like right here, you go short, you were short until, so 50% gain on that short. And you can see it kissed the 200-day moving average. It does that a lot. If you look back through it, it'll hit the 200-day and then immediately reverse. So that happens a lot. And right now, it very much looks like that exact thing is going to happen again right here. All right. I'll go ahead and share with you guys. My favorite thing to trade is Avalanche. I think fundamentally it holds the most promise for a chain in the future. I think the only reason Bitcoin will win is because the other chains get stomped on by the government, and Bitcoin is bought by the government. So if you want to root for the government, buy Bitcoin. But this one, Avalanche, probably a government project as well. I imagine all crypto is, I would imagine. But these are my two systems. So this is the one I do. It told me to go short right here at 38. And it's made about 50% already on the moving average there going down. So let's take a quick look at the Ichimoku on that one. And it had me open a short. You can tell right there, 9-day under 26-day, price under cloud, trailing line under price and cloud. So it went short about in there. Yeah, right in there. and that one's made about 20%. Okay? So that's trading with the trend. I just wanted to get on here, show you guys that, and it just bothers me, man. It bothers me when people tell you to, there's two guys that did it. It was, I can't remember their names. It doesn't matter who it is. I don't need to name names. All that matters is that if you hear people saying that, I think it's a horrible idea. I think it's a horrible idea. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Like, let's go back to it on Bitcoin here. And I'll show you how I can be wrong and why I still don't think it's a good idea, even if I'm wrong. This is some hard-won trader's advice. I feel the lessons that you learn in trading are best learned from losing money. That heartbreak is something you'll never forget, and it humbles you, and makes you realize kind of the Warren Buffett sage-like advice that he'll say that quotes like a market is a mechanism for separating money from the impatient and giving it to the patient. My levels are really low. Okay. Let me try something here. What if I click that? Does that help any, Gannon? I clicked automatically turn up volume. Does that help at all? Can you hear me now? Does that help at all, Gannon? Hello, hello, hello. Okay, well, that sucks. I probably said all that and no one could even hear it. But, dadgummit. Not really. Okay. Okay, well, real quick, I'm going to switch from one to the other. Give me 30 seconds here. Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, check, check. Mic check, 1, 2. Check, 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 check. Mic check. All right. I haven't turned on automatically adjust volume. Yeah. How's that? I switched interfaces. Can you hear me better now? Is that better than before? Tell me, tell me, tell me. Perfect. Man, you know what sucks about this, Gannon? Is this, I bought this as just like a secondary interface to use at school. And it was like $150. And then I have this much more expensive, here, I'll show you. It's much more expensive Apollo Twin Duo. And that's the one we were just using, which you could barely hear me out of. It has all these fancy plugins, and it does not work as good as this one with 2 buttons, which is infuriating. So, man, all right. Well, I rambled a little bit there, but now that you can hear me better, I'm just going to go ahead and say that again. Not as in depth, but quickly. Okay. So let me put this on here. All right. So, like I said before, quiet in a more quiet fashion. There's a bunch of people online. There's two people I'm thinking of specifically. I'll give you some hints. One is a very excited European Norway type dude. Very excited. And in his most recent video about everything crashing, he said, you know, he did say something to that effect, that it's a pretty good time to buy, something like that. And I was like, no, don't tell people that, dude. Don't tell people that. What? No. There's another guy who's an Orthodox Christian. He's got a lot of hot takes. And what did he say yesterday? He was streaming. He goes, you know, my family's always like, man, I wish I would have bought Bitcoin back in the day when it was cheap. And look at it today, man. Now's the time. Now's the time, man. It's cheap again. You know what to do. And I was like, no. Why did I say that? Well, as I talked about before, in trading, probably the most famous cross you can have is called the death cross. What is the death cross? It's right here in this video. Let's switch to this one. The death cross. It's when the 200-day moving or the 50-day moving average goes under the 200-day average. That's all it is. It's when the 50-day moving average goes under the 200-day. It's one of the most closely watched things in all of markets. Why do I trade it? Precisely because everyone else is trading it. And if everyone else is trading it, there should be huge swings in the stock when that happens. Stock, crypto, commodity, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. The opposite of a death cross, as I said earlier, at more annoying volume, is the golden cross. And all that is the 50-day moving average goes above the 200-day moving average. Okay? There's the death cross of the S&P in 2019. All right. The regular stock market is so manipulated that I don't even really care about it. I mean, I don't trade it because it's like watching paint dry if you trade crypto. But capitalism, am I right? Absolutely, Gannon. Yes. And I'm glad I fixed it, buddy. Thank you so much for. I'm just gonna stick to the Volt. It's a tenth of the price and appears to work 10 times as well. So if you need a good interface, get the Volt. Anyway, so back to the chart here. So what I was showing people was I have right on here, I have a double moving average cross. This green line is the 50-day moving average. This red line is the 200-day moving average. Okay, this is Bitcoin. Okay, you can see right here, you can even turn the price off. And I remember reading in a trading book, you should just ask your kid, ask a 5-year-old, which way is this chart going? So you could ask a 5-year-old, which of does this line appear like it's about to go under that line? Do any volume bars on the bottom stick out here? These are like elementary rules that you can look back at your trading history and just see if I had followed that, I would have made a ton of money, but I tried to overcomplicate things. So I've tried to simplify my trading mainly through the hard-won wisdom of losing a lot of money. Okay? Looking back at what I did wrong, and it was almost always I overcomplicated it. I switched systems, which I talked about earlier. I learned all this from the first Market Wizards book. I wrote Ed Seykota a letter years ago, and he sent me his Essentials card from the Trading Tribe. Ed took a few $1,000s and turned it into 180 million, which is pretty good, purely by trend trading. So you stick to the system. That's one of the rules right here. Stick to the system. Okay? Never look at the news. Turn off the news. Use stops. Know when you're going to get out, when you get in. So on the chart here, a stop would be, I'm going to be in if the green line is above the red line. And I'm going to be out if the green line is below the red line. That's a stop. It's not a monetary stop, but it's a stop. And having a stop like that, you are managing your risk. You're not just buying and holding and hoping for the best. Okay? Sorry about this card. My 2-year-old got a hold of it. Okay? I keep it here to remind me the 6 rules. Okay? This is these are, by not following these, even though I had this card right in front of me, you know, I think it was, what was his name? Oh, he started with a D. He was one of the first fully automated trend traders. It might have been Richard Donchen that created Donchen channels. But he said I could publish on the front page of the New York Times when I buy and sell, and it still wouldn't help most people, even though I'm, you know, worth tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. Most people, even if you tell them exactly what to do, they're not going to be able to do it, because this whole game is more psychology. It's more controlling yourself than it is knowing what to do. So I've tried to simplify it, and that's why I wanted to get on here and tell you guys. I'm telling the same thing I told before, but you don't want to be in a trade if the 50-day moving average is below the 200-day, and it definitely looks like that's about to happen. Especially, you also don't want to fight volume. You want to buy into volume. You know, like, let's go way back when on Avalanche. So when it first came out, I remember I was literally waiting for the moving averages to print. They weren't even printed yet. There wasn't Ichimoku here. I remember that. So you can see, this is where I first got on at $4. Okay? And it went up to, on that first wave, it went up to 60. All right. And look at the volume. Green, big green bars. Bigger than any bar had been that far. You can see right here. When it started taking off, the volume went up. Green volume. And then it crashed way down. And then this was that summer of 2021. And look when it starts going again. Look at this green. Look at that. Look at that right there. Skyrocketing. The volume went from 1.4 million AVAX to 11 million AVAX. So it went up almost 10 times. People buying it. The money was buying it. Big money was buying it. It kept going up. As the volume starts to trickle off, you lose that upward momentum. All right. So if you go back to Bitcoin and we go to today, look at the red volume. Look at the red volume. And it went down to like 49. I've seen that a lot in the charts. That will happen a lot of the time when the trend is changing. You'll see a big reach down candle like this. It'll sideways for a while. A lot of the time it'll go up. It'll kind of bounce against the Ichimoku, maybe even go up here. And then it will crash back down and go below that exploratory level. You know? And just from a fundamentalist perspective, I heard the other day Peter Thiel was complaining he didn't buy enough Bitcoin back in the day. And I was like, well, if people like Peter Thiel, you know, the creator of PayPal, the creator of Palantir, if he doesn't think he's got enough, then the people that run our economy are going to try to collapse this market and buy some more much cheaper. And they're going to do that over and over and over again. Which is good if you're a trader, because you can ride the wave. You know, it's like that BlackRock guy said in that video James O'Keefe recorded. He said, "We love volatility. The war in Ukraine has been great for profits." You know, I can't quite bring myself to trade Raytheon because I think it is soaked in blood. But, you know, fake internet money, why not? Why not? So, at that quieter volume, I had explained the Ichimoku here, and that's the first trade I look at. Is the Ichimoku was this famous Japanese journalist in the 1930s. I don't know how famous he was, but he was pretty genius, and he twiddled with this a lot. Ichimoku means one look. I look at the chart, and that's how I trade at night. I go to my AVAX ecosystem, and I just quickly, I can glance and see if any of these are a buy. Nope. Look how quick I get. These are all the ones I look at. So these are like smaller coins inside the Avalanche ecosystem. I like that I can quickly trade within MetaMask by staying in one ecosystem. Back in the day, I used to switch from layer 1 to layer 1. I don't do that anymore. Why? Because they all follow each other anyway. Whatever Bitcoin's doing, all the other ones are going to do. So if you have a quality layer 1 that's lower in market cap, and I think Avalanche is the best, I'm willing to argue with the Solana boys or whatever. I don't really care, though. I mean, if it's going up, that's the one I want to be on. I'm not married to any of this. That's another thing with these Bitcoin maxis. Why are you married to this thing? What are you, like, you're trying to sell me something. I mean, I watch the chart every day. There's more money to be made in Ethereum or Avalanche or Solana. I don't understand. They follow the technical indicators even better. Like Bitcoin, because it's bigger, is more manipulated. I've seen a lot of like whipsaws in it. So I don't know why, you know. But this is just to show you real quick. So Ichimoku, you know, I'll show you on Bitcoin. I showed them before, but my mic was messed up. I tried to get creative and use my nice one, and I'm just going to keep using my cheap one, I guess. So Bitcoin, here's on the daily chart. I do the daily. I once dropped down in the 4 hour because I did really good on the daily, and I go, well, I bet I could do even better on the 4 hour, and that is not how that worked. I lost a bunch of money. Okay? So the daily is as low as I go. It was also as low as Ed Seikoda went. Oh. I need that stream deck so I can quit going over here. Ed Seikoda, only use the daily. He said it in the Market Wizards interview. Why do you only use the daily? And he said, because I don't want a machine on my desk that I feed all day like it's a slot machine. I check the chart once a day. And I like this because I can still teach school. I can do a job. I could be a writer. I could do anything. I don't have to sit here and watch the market all day. You know, I check it once at night. Each one of these candles is one day. So here's Bitcoin, okay? To buy on the Ichimoku, you need three things, and you had them right here. You need price to go above the cloud. The cloud is the current price, 52 days in the future. The math isn't exactly this, but it's pretty close. It's like the current price. The bottom is mapped 52 days into the future. The top of the candle is mapped 52 days into the future, and it creates this kind of support and resistance that seems to work really well. I don't know if it's because people trade it. I don't know if it's because, you know, pi and the golden ratio and all. I don't know. I've just seen it work really well over and over, so that's why I do it. I like simple one thing I can look at. I can go through a lot of charts if I want to. I mainly just do Avalanche, but you can see right here. It pops up above the cloud, okay? That's the first thing I'm looking for. Is it above the cloud? If it is, then that's the first thing I check off. The number two thing I look for is right here. Is the 9-day average, this blue line, above the 26-day average, this gray line? Is it? Yes, it is. Thumbs up. Awesome. So 2 out of 3. The last thing I look for is is the trailing line, this purple line. All that is the price today, 26 days in the past. Why do they use 9 and 26? He said he just fiddled with it until he found the best thing that worked. They've done it for 100 years. I'm not going to change it. I like that a lot of people use it because that means if I'm buying it, a lot of other people are too. You can call it a self-fulfilling prophecy. I've seen it work. I've seen it work. I've seen it work in my own life. I've seen it work to where if I just simplified this and only followed this one thing, you know, I would be a millionaire already. I've seen that. I can look back in the past and see that. Okay? You got to learn from your mistakes. You can either give up or you can learn those hard emotional lessons and keep going and, you know, recommit to having more discipline in the future. But this is it, the Ichimoku. So that's the 3. Price goes above cloud. Check. 9-day above 26-day. Check. Trailing line above price and above cloud. Check. So I would have bought right there. And you would have held it until one of those things changes, which is somewhere in here. You got about 50% on that Bitcoin trade. So right now you are almost looking at the opposite. You're almost looking at a short where you borrow Bitcoin from the exchange. The reason they loan it to you is because they charge you a very small fee and they're guaranteed to get the Bitcoin back. So they charge you maybe $1 a day to borrow it. They're guaranteed to get it back because if the price goes against you, they'll just take it back from you and you lose all your money. So at the point when the price goes against you, because this is how it works. I explained this earlier. I'll explain it one more time since my mic works now. Say right here, you know, this is where I would probably go short if I traded Bitcoin. I don't trade it. But if I did, this is where I would go short. Okay. Technically, I would want the 9-day to be actually below the 26-day. This happens a lot in the Ichimoku. If you look up here, you can see 59,540, 59,540. So they both like equaled each other. The 9 and the 26 are exactly the same. But by looking at this chart, especially with this huge red candle down here and everyone freaking out, I would feel pretty confident to short this puppy. What's that mean when I short it? I go on the exchange. I say, hey, I want to go short. And they say, well, how much Bitcoin do you want to borrow? However much cash I have, say I have $10,000. I give the cash as collateral. They give me that amount of Bitcoin. I immediately sell that Bitcoin for more cash. Okay? And then I just wait until it falls, until one of these things changes. Hey, Mr. Wonderful, thanks for dropping by, comrade. So good to see you, buddy. Until one of those things changes. So let me show you where I would have went short on Bitcoin in the past. Let's look at a good one here. So, like, let's do this one. Okay. So right here, it's just the opposite of what I told you earlier. Price goes below cloud. Okay, I'm watching. I watch this every day. Each one of these is one day, 6, 7 p.m., depending if we're in daylight savings time. So it looks like right here we dropped. It did go back up once, and I would have sold right there because I follow my system. But right here, I would go short because the price is below cloud. 9-day is below 26-day. And the trailing line is below the cloud and below price. So go short right here. And let's measure how we did on that one. I mean, not a real knockout of the park, but still for like stocks, they would think this was fantastic. You got a 14% gain. Okay. That's double an index fund in 32 days. All right. The reason I sold is because the 9-day went above the 26-day right there. So I would have got back on my short right here. And I would have made another right here. That's where it gets out because 9-day goes above 26-day. Another 25%. You know. So if you put in $100, that's $25. If you put in 1,000, it's $250. If you put in 10,000, it's $2,500. I mean, now you're talking, that's a month of teaching. with just money I have sitting around. It gets really fun when it's 100,000. Now you just made $25,000. Now you've made a year of teaching by watching this chart every night and clicking a button. Okay. Hey, my dad's here. Hello, Father. Welcome, welcome. It's a family affair. What app are you using? I'm using, this is called TradingView. This is how I watch my charts every night. As far as trading itself, I've moved on-chain now with Avalanche. You get MetaMask, and you can there's decentralized exchanges you can use. I think at this point there's two big ones. I think it's like YXDX, and there's another one called GMX. And you can just trade on-chain. And we all had to do that because Mr. Biden and his administration shut down almost every single exchange that you can short on in the United States. The craziest one he did is he shut down, the last one that would let you short was Kraken. I shorted on Kraken for years. Kraken would let you short. Coinbase would never really let you short. It might on the pro tier. I don't even know if they do on that. Coinbase is for the normies. But it's a great way to buy USDC and, send it to your MetaMask or however you want to do it. What is MetaMask? MetaMask is just it's an app that works as a crypto wallet that when you go to a crypto decentralized like trading website, it will recognize your wallet and you can short and long with your money or turn it into another coin or whatever you want to do. Necessity is the mother of invention, and I eventually just did that because I was sick of exchanges being shut down. And at the end, I logged into Kraken to try to short, and it told me I needed $1 million collateral. This was a couple years ago, one of Biden's finer moments, him and Gary Gensler. $1 million collateral. And I opened up the little chat feature, and I was like, this is just going to screw over poor people. Like, I've gotten pretty good at turning 10 grand into 20 grand through shorting, and you're not going to let me do that anymore? Unless I have $1 million in collateral? And he wrote me back. You could tell the guy that wrote me back hated it. He was like, I agree with you completely. We're just following Biden's law. And I was like, wow. They shut down everyone overseas you could go to. Hey, land of the free, home of the brave, right? So, I wanted to go for an hour. I'm going to show you, I'll show this one last time over here, how you could trade with the moving average. I use two. I use half my account on the Ichimoku and half my account on just the basic moving average cross. This is a 50-day moving average. This is a 200-day. But right here on Bitcoin. So you would have went short. Let's zoom out so you can see. Short. The 50-day goes under the 200-day. That's the death cross. So each one of these candles is 1 day. So you're watching it every day. So let's try to take it back to that moment. So you're watching it. Okay. This is where we're kind of at with that chart right now. The green line it looks very much like it's going to go under the red line. If you look at it there, let's turn off price real quick. Hide. Okay. Right here. It looks almost exactly like where we're at right now. There was a whipsaw, but pretty close. Green line's about to go under red line. Okay. And look what happened. So right here, I would have went short with half my account, 42,000. You go short. And you stay short as long as the 50-day is under the 200. So I'm watching it for a few months. Here I'd get a little nervous, but not that nervous. I mean, what did I lose if it had went above it? Even if the price went above it, I don't care. I'm waiting for the green line to go above the red. And you're not going to win them all, but but with trend following, you will hit the big ones. Like you can see right here. Oh, look. So we went short at 43,000. Now how that works is just to keep the math simple. Okay, let's say I had $43,000 in cash. I give that cash to the exchange. They give me exactly $43,000 worth of Bitcoin. I immediately sell that $43,000 worth of Bitcoin, and my liquidation would be $86,000 because that would make me lose all my money, which is a price Bitcoin has never been to. So if people are like, shorting is so dangerous, if you use 1x margin, it's not that dangerous to me because it literally has to double for you to lose all your money. Okay, that would be a level it's never been to. And before that happened, the 50-day would very likely be above the 200-day. So you'd already be out. So you borrow the $43,000 of Bitcoin, you immediately sell it. So you have $86,000 in cash. You are obligated to buy back that exact amount of Bitcoin. Yeah, I have to buy back 1 Bitcoin and give it to the exchange to close my short. But let's keep going until the double moving average, the death cross, until it turns into a golden cross. And then I would cover my short. So this one I think was short a little over a year. But it's fun to watch it because you feel smart. You're making money. And you feel disciplined. So right here, we're starting to go above. Okay? Right there is where I would close my short at 20,000. So from 43 to 20, at that point, I buy back 1 Bitcoin and I give it back to the exchange and I go, hey, there you are, dude. Thanks for letting me borrow that. He's happy because I paid him $1 a day. So he made $400 doing nothing but lending me this crypto. He's guaranteed to get back. He gets it back. And I just pocketed $23,000 from that short. Okay? And the point of this video was, if we go to today, right here, just like we saw before, if you turn off the current price, right here, hide. Does it look like that green line's about to go under the red line? Let's make it real thick so you can see it. Okay. Properties, style, right here. Let's make it as thick as I can make it. As thick as I can make it. As thick as I can make it. So you can see. Okay. Doesn't that look like that green line? The 50-day average is about to go under the 200-day. That is the death cross. Okay? The most popular indicator in all of financial markets. The death cross. When the 50-day moving average, right here, when the 50-day goes under the 200-day. That is very close to where we are with massive volume, massive negative volume on Bitcoin. All right? I'd imagine here in a couple days, that green line is going to go below the red. If I traded Bitcoin, I would be short. I trade Avalanche, so I've already been short. Avalanche kind of precedes Bitcoin, but right here, it would have told me to buy Avalanche at that point and sell it right there. So that's a 65% gain in 191 days. So far, I've got a 50% gain in 71 days on the short side, just by this very, very, very simple indicator. Okay. Any commies watching? Hey, if you read Ingalls' autobiography, Marx's General, Ingalls made a lot of money in the market, and he gave it to Marx to write Capital Volume 1, 2, 3, and everything else. Okay. This is just the economy in which we live. I saw pretty quickly socialism actually led me to learn how to trade the markets because I saw there was no money in working. There's no money in working. I say that all the time in the classroom, kids. Choose a job because you love to do it. Choose a job because you love to do it. Okay? Don't choose a job for the money. Okay? Even a brain surgeon. I'll do this on the board in class. I'll be like a brain surgeon. How much money do they make? Let's say they make $500,000 a year. Let's say they work 30 years. What is that? 15 million? I can't even do that math. It's something like that. Is Warren Buffett worth more or less than 15 million? If Warren Buffett woke up tomorrow with $15 million, he would consider himself a massive failure in life. Is Warren Buffett worth more to our economy than a brain surgeon? I don't think so. I don't even think he would think so. But if he's honest, this is just the system in which we live, and I decided to figure out how to do this. And you can use these exact systems I just showed you on gold, silver, Nvidia, Walmart. There's the stock market, any of them, whichever one you want. Okay. I just hit an hour. If anything I told you was helpful, or if you just want to support a broke teacher trying to climb out of working class poverty by learning a few tricks of the trade like this, I have Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee in the description. But I will never, ever, ever, ever in a million years try to guilt trip you into giving me money on there. I don't care. If it's in your heart, do it. If not, don't do it. But it's part of my bravery process. I just mentioned it at the end. This mic sounds pretty good, I think. It sounds good in my ears. When I listen back, it doesn't always sound good going out to you. But I don't like the automatically adjust mic volume because sometimes I'll go in and it'll like turn it down on me, and I hate that. So anyway, we did it, guys. To the 7 people watching, I love y'all. God bless. Great lesson, Professor. Thank you, Cannon. It's hard-won wisdom, man. 2 best books that helped me were, I think it was John Murphy, Technical Analysis of the Financial Markets, and Market Wizards by Jack D. Swager. I'm going to go back and watch this. I think this was a lot of help. Thanks, and it is an awesome mic. Thank you, guys. Gannon, Mr. Wonderful, Dad, AG, Julian dropped by. I even disclosed crypto. Shilled the Gary network a little bit. Good for you. Disclose crypto. I appreciate y'all coming by, and I got to go pick up the girls from Grandma's. So I'll see you next time. I love y'all. Peace out.